It's time for Ask Mike Mondays. Mike answers one listener's question every week. Here's Michael Becker and Paul Peebles.
Welcome to Ask Mike Mondays. I'm your host, Paul Peebles, National Underwriter for Old Capital. And joining me today, Michael Becker.
Hey, Paul.
Smartest guy that I know in the apartment business. Michael, who owns 4,600 doors. He's done 22 acquisitions of multifamily properties in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. He is an expert in multifamily besides being a former banker. Pretty conservative guy, I would probably imagine. So we get a question that comes out every once in a while because Michael owns so many units. The question that is being asked right now is that, Michael, do you see an end to the golden age of apartments? The golden age of apartments.
Yeah, that's kind of what my little tagline that I've kind of coined. I think there's been kind of the golden age of apartment ownership here lately. The last 5-6 years have really been kind of unprecedented growth in the apartment sector. Has kind of been demographic generational shift of the millennials coming into their own, and just the pressures and demands coming out of the Great Recession, and more renters than home buyers, basically. So it's really been a phenomenal time to be in the business. So do we see an end? I mean, real estate's a cyclical thing, Paul, so it kind of goes up and goes down. But, I mean, it does seem like there has been, certainly the last multiple years, like I just mentioned, a fundamental shift in the marketplace. And then everything's really local. So here, and a lot of the business we do is here in Texas, because that's where we're based in Dallas. And Dallas-Fort Worth in particular seems to be the mecca of attracting jobs, and then people follow jobs, and then, apartment demand follows jobs and people as well. So it just seems like, our market has been, fundamentally different than what it's been, 10 years ago. So I don't know, we kind of argue here internally, and I've been saying it for multiple years. I'm not sure if, we're kind of peaking out, or if we're, or California back in the 70s, where the housing prices tripled in California from the early 70s to the late 70s. So it just seems like, that there's some real fundamental things that are driving this demand and the pricing and the rents going up. And, locally here in DFW, so there's a lot of people moving here and a lot of jobs. And I don't really see what's going to kind of stop it. Maybe a recession slows it up. I don't see really what stops it. Some of the things that I think about when you kind of talk about the golden age is, the good thing about multifamily is this, unless something fundamentally changes the way we function as human beings, housing is a universal need and necessity. So it's not, something that could be done away with technology, at least nothing that I'm aware of right now. Kind of like on the retail real estate sector is getting crushed by the online. I don't foresee housing being disrupted that way. So it's really universal need. So it's about how do you set it up? Where do you buy? How do you set your transaction up? And then kind of, do you overpay or do you not overpay? So if you listen to the podcast, you hear me beat the table multiple times on the 4 things that kind of, if you do them or don't do them, you kind of stay out of trouble. So, really the 4 things that get people in trouble is buying in the hood. So you buy in a bad location. You are undercapitalizing your deal. You don't put the money up front to fix the deferred maintenance and then to implement your capital plan. You have poor management, or you have a loan maturity at the bad time. So if you just take out long-term fixed rate debt, hire a good quality professional management company, do a good physical inspection, put the money up front, and buy in good locations, the market's going to cycle up and down, but you do those things, I think you kind of weather, and then the long-term growth historically, and what I foresee going forward, or the natural trend will be upward with a couple cycles along the way. So I don't know if that answers your question, Paul, but those are the things I think about the real estate cycle.
Knowing that we were going to talk a little bit about that, I was just pulling a National Multifamily Housing Council report that was commissioned with the National Apartment Association. So a little bit of a slant because they are apartment specific groups, but they're saying that the U.S. is going to need 4.6 million new apartments by 2030. So 4.6 million new apartments. So they're saying the growing demand due to the aging population, immigration, and declining home purchases. So currently there's 39 million people living in apartments, and the apartment industry is quickly exceeding capacity. In the last 5 years, an average of 1 million new renter households were formed every year, which is a record. And I thought this was an interesting stat. It said it will take building an average of at least 325,000 new apartment homes every year to meet demand. Yet, on average, there's only 244,000 apartments that were delivered annually between 2012 and 2016. So some of the demand pieces that the people are talking about is the delayed home purchases. So life events such as marriage and children are the biggest drivers of home ownership, and now that's down significantly. So a lot of people have had kind of a paradigm shift in buying homes. Second is that aging population. So we still have a lot of people who are 65 years or older that are wanting to move from the big house to the apartment because their kids are living in different parts of the country. So they're selling their house here, let's say in Dallas, and moving to Ohio or Chicago, wherever their grandkids have moved to. And then we have immigration. So a lot of the new immigrants that come in, they kind of live in apartments anyway. So we're just experiencing this huge fundamental shifts in the housing dynamics. So we're still big believers that it's still going to be the golden age of apartments. We may have some small setbacks over a period of time, whether interest rates rise or fall. But we're big believers still that the apartments are still a good thing to continue to invest in. Anything else, Michael?
Just, if you guys appreciate the podcast and enjoy listening to it, we certainly, Paul and I would appreciate if you guys go to www.oldcapitalpodcast.com. On there, you kind of find out the current events that we have going on, the speaker series that we have, as well as you can sign up for the multifamily financing white paper, kind of multifamily finance 101, as well as the sample due diligence checklist. And of course, we always are looking for good questions for Ask Mike Monday, so you certainly ask questions there.
Yeah, starting in the fall, we're going to start doing some direct Facebook, putting it on the web. So if you want to watch one of our speaker series, we'll let everybody know, and then we'll have it recorded. And so you can go on and watch it while it's happening here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Facebook Live?
Facebook Live.
Wow.
That's how you kids think about it. Facebook Live. I was going to say Periscope, but it's really Facebook Live. So we're going to start doing our speaker series events so you can actually watch when that happens and maybe ask a question to the speaker. And we usually have 200, 300, 400 people at those events. So it's a great networking opportunity to talk to some of the experts in the multifamily. Anything else?
That's it, Paul.
All right. That's Michael Becker. I'm Paul Peoples. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.